All right, so we've spent some quality time mapping out the security risks of public and private AI, right? Well, now we're flipping the script. We're moving from the problems to the solutions. This is Chapter 4, where we really get into the nitty-gritty, the actual strategies for locking down your AI. And we're going to start with a pretty simple but powerful idea.
And hey, just as a quick reminder, this is part 4 of a 5-lesson tutorial called Security Risks and Mitigation Strategies of Public versus Private AI by Virtualization Options LLC. Right now, we're zeroing in on those mitigation policies. This is where the rubber really meets the road, you know? It's where the theory of risk meets the reality of protecting your stuff.
So to really wrap our heads around this, let's use an analogy. Think of public AI like you're renting a super high-security apartment. You get all this top-notch professional security managed for you, but you're sharing the building. Private AI, on the other hand, that's like owning your own custom-built fortress. You have absolute total control, but guess what? You're also the one responsible for building and maintaining every single wall, every single lock. This core idea, renting versus owning, that's going to be the key to understanding every strategy we talk about today.
Okay, so let's start right at the front door, access control. This is your first, and you could argue, most critical line of defense. And how you manage it depends completely on whether you're that renter in the apartment or the owner of the fortress.
So what does this actually look like in practice? The big deal is how you check who gets in. For public AI, you're going to lean on the powerful built-in identity services from your cloud provider. You know, things like Azure AD or AWS AIM. The game plan here is super strict API key management and adopting a zero-trust model. Basically, you trust no one and you always verify. Now, for your private fortress, it's a whole different ballgame. You're integrating directly with your own company's identity systems. And this gives you incredible fine-grained control to enforce stuff like multi-factor authentication and to slice up your network into tiny pieces. You're basically building walls within your walls.
So that brings us to the crown jewels themselves, your data. See, access control is about who gets in the door, but data governance is about what they can see and do once they're inside. This is where security gets really personal.
And wow, this really spells out the fundamental difference, doesn't it? When you're using public AI, our high-security apartment, your number one absolute golden rule is to classify and scrub sensitive data before it ever leaves your network. You encrypt it on your end, and you carefully read through the provider's data agreements. With a private AI fortress, though, you control the whole shebang. You build your own classification systems, you manage your own encryption keys, and you define every single procedure from start to finish. It's really the difference between packing your valuables in a safe before you ship them out versus keeping them locked in a vault you build yourself.
So you've secured the doors, and you've locked up the valuables. But how do you know if someone is trying to pick a lock, or if something's just off inside? That brings us to monitoring and auditing. Or, to put it another way, who's watching the watchers?
The trade-off here is just crystal clear. With public AI, you get the benefit of all these fancy cloud-native monitoring tools from the platform. It's powerful stuff for sure, but your visibility stops at the provider's wall. You have to trust their security because you just can't see everything that's going on behind the scenes. In your private fortress, on the other hand, you have the potential for complete end-to-end visibility. You can deploy your own security systems, like CMs, and create custom monitoring for AI-specific threats. But, and this is a big but, that total control comes at a cost, a huge investment in both the tech and the expert people you need to run.
So while the specific tactics for the apartment and the fortress are different, the strategic blueprint underneath is the same. There's a universal action plan that provides the foundation for securing any AI model, whether it's public or private. Look, regardless of your setup, every solid AI security program follows these 4 steps. First, a thorough risk assessment. You have to understand your unique vulnerabilities. Second, framework selection, where you pick a standardized guide so you aren't reinventing the wheel. Third, control implementation, where you actually deploy the policies and tools we've been talking about. And finally, continuous improvement, because security is a process, not a destination. You have to keep auditing, updating, and adapting.
And that brings us to this really crucial point from the source material. Don't go it alone. Frameworks like the NIST AI Risk Management Framework give you a solid, industry-tested foundation. And the real beauty of a framework like this is that it's adaptable. It gives you the core security principles, and then you get to tailor the specific recommendations to fit your model, whether it's public, private, or some kind of mix. So we'll end with a big question for you to chew on. We've spent this whole time carefully drawing a line in the sand between the security for public and private AI. But as these technologies evolve and converge, is that line going to start to blur?
Are we heading towards a hybrid future where the best strategies from both the rented apartment and the owned fortress combine into a single unified approach to AI security? It's a fascinating question, and the answer is going to shape the next chapter of AI innovation.